Hey, I was wondering if you guys could do 107 facts about SpongeBob. I was also wondering if you guys could, say happy birthday. My name is Omar.
Sometimes a cartoon comes along and it's everything that you never realized you always wanted. Like for instance, a sea sponge who also works as a fry cook and lives in a pineapple. It takes one crazy, creative mind to think of something like that, and the world is a much better place for it. Which is why you can't restrict one of the most beloved cartoons from over the past 20 years to a mere 107 facts. Whether you're a die-hard fan or just wondering what all the fuss is about, we have something for everybody in our 107 more facts you should know about Spongebob Squarepants. Today we've got Tim as your captain on this factual journey, so are you ready, kids? Aye aye, Captain! Let's get started.
Number 1. When pitching the show to execs, Steven Hillenburg, the show's creator, brought in a terrarium with models of the characters and set the pitch to Hawaiian music. Nickelodeon exec Eric Coleman said the presentation was pretty amazing. In fact, the execs immediately wanted to see it again, both because they liked it and it was unlike anything they'd ever seen before. Number 2. Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, showed extreme dedication to the show from early on, attending pitches and contributing gags to the show. Nick's vice president at the time said it was like having SpongeBob in the room. Number 3. Hillenburg was inspired by Laurel and Hardy when he was coming up with the concept of the show. Number 4. Hillenburg wanted each character to have a distinct walking style that showcased their personality. He directed Eric Weiss to make SpongeBob's gait more stiff and direct, almost marchy. Weiss was completely stuck until he realized that Hillenburg was SpongeBob, and made SpongeBob's walk mirror his creators. Since then, Hillenburg's movements have greatly influenced SpongeBob's timing and gesturing. Number 5. The theme song was written by Mark Harrison, who based the catchy melody off the sea shanty Blow the Man Down. Number 6. SpongeBob has actually overtaken Pokemon as the #1 Saturday morning cartoon, with a Nielsen family rating of 4.9. Sorry, Pikachu. The children's demographic did not choose you. Number 7. The ending theme was written by Steve Beifer, who was friends with Steven Hillenburg at Cal Arts. He remembers Hillenburg having the piece in mind before he even made SpongeBob's pilot. Number 8. It takes about 9 to 10 months to produce one 11-minute episode of Spongebob Squarepants. Number 9. Spongebob Squarepants is a storyboard-driven show. Most of the writing happens via outlines and storyboards on post-it notes rather than formal scripts. Hillenburg was insistent on this method of writing from the start. Number 10. The crew initially struggled to find stories for season 2, since they had used all the scenarios in the show's pitch bible for season 1. A group of writers took a field trip to the beach for inspiration, but the day was so overcast and cold that everyone stayed in the car. Needless to say, not many ideas were generated that day. Number 11. The live-action footage in Band Geeks was from the USFL Memphis Showboats vs. Tampa Bay Bandits game. Number 12. In Sailor Mouth, Squidward's belief that there are only 7 bad words is a reference to George Carlin's 7 dirty words routine. As you might have guessed, these are 7 words I am not allowed to say. Number 13. In the episode Shanghai, the perfume department scene was shot in an actual Macy's. Number 14. Creative director Derek Dryman's inspiration for writing the episode Sailor Mouth was an incident when he said the F word in front of his mother. Mrs. Krabs' slew of cursing comes from the fact that Dryman's mom has a foul mouth herself. Number 15. The idea for the episode The Secret Box also came from one of Dryman's childhood experiences. Hillenburg explained, Dryman had a secret box as a kid and started telling us about it. We wanted to make fun of him and use it. Number 16. The opening lines of the song Ripped Pants are a parody of Be True to Your School by the Beach Boys. Number 17. The song was written by Paul Tibbett and Peter Strauss. Strauss also provides SpongeBob's memorably suave singing voice. Number 18. When SpongeBob discusses how wonderful old people are in the original Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the scene cuts to an old man in a sailor hat. That man is Don Newhouse, a beloved Nickelodeon Animation Studios security guard who passed away in 2015. Number 19. The episode The Squeaky Boots is a spoof of Edgar Allan Poe's short story The Telltale Heart. In case you missed it in middle school, Poe's story is about a man who murders his master and hides his heart in the floorboards, but is then wrought with guilt. Sound familiar? Krabs' line, "They're here beneath the floorboards," is even a paraphrase of the story's final lines. Number 20. SpongeGar's discovery in the Caveman episode Ugh that a stick can be used as a tool is a direct homage to 2001 A Space Odyssey, when apes discover uses for bones. The Guy Ligeti and Richard Strauss piece that underlays this scene is also a nod to 2001's musical score. Number 21. In the episode Sleepy Time, the limerick that Gary tells SpongeBob in his dream is "The Man from Nantucket," which is a common limerick beginning involving obscene rhymes and puns. Number 22. Old Man Jenkins has had a number of different designs. Either Old Man Jenkins is one of the most common names in Bikini Bottom, or Old Man Jenkins is some kind of a wizard that can transform into old fishmen. Either way, I smell a conspiracy. Number 23, the song Loop De Loop from the episode Your Shoes Untied was written and recorded by the band Ween, one of Hillenburg's primary influences for the show. Their song Ocean Man also appears for the first film's soundtrack. However, parents might not want to let their little sailors dig into the Ween collection all willy-nilly. Number 24, the Ween tie-ins go even deeper. SpongeBob directly references the Ween song The Mollusk when he tells Gary, his own dear mollusk, to mind his wandering eye. Number 25, in the episode Pre-Hibernation Week, the song that plays in the industrial park is a lyricless version of Pantera's song Death Rattle. Number 26, the man showering in King Neptune's cloud in Neptune's Spatula is Tom Kenny, who has provided the voice of SpongeBob for the entire duration of the show, and has given us the laugh that I can only hope to imitate. It comes and goes. Number 27, Tom Kenny's favorite episode is Band Geeks, and his favorite secondary character is Patchy the Pirate, though he might be a bit biased there. As we established in the last video, Patchy the Pirate is Tom Kenny. Number 28, the epic song at the end of Band Geeks is the 1986 song Sweet Victory by David Glenn Isley. The writers were originally going to have the characters performing marching band music at a high level, but realized the idea wasn't nearly as humorous as, you know, an 80s power ballad. Number 29, one of SpongeBob's most famous made-up holidays is Leif Erikson Day, which celebrates the Norse explorer who led the first Europeans to North America. Yet Leif Erikson Day is actually celebrated in 6 states and 1 Canadian province on October 9th. Number 30, in the original cut of Just One Bite, Squidward breaks into the Krusty Krab only to have a bucket of gas poured on him. A match is then lit and the room explodes. The scene was cut from all versions of the episode after 9/11 for references to fire. Number 31, the gorilla in I Had an Accident was played by Frank Welker, who is better known for voicing Fred in Scooby-Doo. Number 32, in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, the narrator of the International Justice League of Super Acquaintances commercial says the group is a subsidiary of Viacom. Viacom is the company that owns Nickelodeon, and in turn SpongeBob, and so in turn the IJLSA, if you really want to dig for it. Number 33, in the episode No Free Rides, when Mrs. Puff walks home and turns the lights on, you can see the picture beside her is an infinity loop of her looking surprised. Number 34, Patrick has actually worked for the Chum Bucket and the Krusty Krab, 2 episodes apiece. He worked for the Chum Bucket in The Fry Cook Games and in Chum Bucket Supreme. He worked for the Krusty Krab in No Hat for Pat and Big Pink Loser. Where do Patrick's loyalties lie? Dun dun dun.
And we just wanted to take a quick break from the facts to let you all know that we're going to be doing another 60 Degrees video next week. Sapphire is still going to be hosting 60 Degrees, but she's going to be playing around with the overall style of the video, so be sure to tune in next week and let us know what you think of 60 Degrees of Steven Universe to Rick and Morty. We're so excited to be doing more of these videos in the future, but for right now, let's get back to the facts.
Number 35, in The Idiot Box, Squidward stumbles upon a sombrero while going through some old belongings and wonders, why haven't I worn this yet? The sombrero and Squidward later fulfill their collective destiny in the camping episode. Number 36, the painting that SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward walk through in Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost is La Troupe de Maille. Toulouse-Lautrec is a pun on the artist's name, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. Number 37, the Krusty Krab was at one time a failed retirement home named the Rusty Krab. Mr. Krabs purchased it after the war when he was in a deep depression. Which war? We may never know. Number 38, SpongeBob is not the first fry cook at the Krusty Krab. He replaced an older fry cook named Jim after Mr. Krabs refused to give him a raise. In fairness, Mr. Krabs would have been new to the restaurant business, so maybe he didn't have a reputation for being cheap yet. Number 39, mark your calendars, Annoy Squidward Day is February 15th, which means you missed it this year, but that's why you need to mark your calendars for next. Number 40, in All That Glitters, SpongeBob's statement, "All that glitters is not gold," is actually borrowed from a J.R.R. Tolkien poem, The Fellowship of the Ring, which begins, "All that is gold does not glitter." Number 41, the shot of Bikini Bottom exploding in Dying for Pie was taken from the Operation Crossroads Baker atomic test conducted at Bikini Atoll. Bikini Atoll served as the site for over 20 nuclear tests, and not so coincidentally, is the famous island located directly above Bikini Bottom. Number 42, in Nasty Patty, SpongeBob gives the health inspector a cup of Diet Red Tide to drink. Red Tide is a phenomenon where algae grows in large concentrations, coloring the water red. Number 43. The music to the Krusty Krab training video title is Waltzing Flutes by Gerard Narhals, a piece made to sound like old lounge music, but was actually recorded specifically for the show. Number 44. Dan Povenmire, one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb, was a storyboard director, writer, and assistant storyboard artist for a few episodes. Number 45. Disney's Phineas and Ferb has taken a not-so-subtle pot shot at the show. In the episode Phineas and Ferb, The Summer Belongs to You, Phineas can be seen holding a yellow sponge and a pink starfish. He goes on to say,
"Look, a sponge and a starfish. There's gotta be something we can make out of this. Oh no, that's ridiculous."
In fairness, that ridiculous idea lets SpongeBob laugh all the way to the bank. Number 46. Povenmire wasn't the only showrunner that got his start on SpongeBob. C.H. Greenblatt, the creator of Cartoon Network's Chowder and Nickelodeon's show Harvey Beaks, was a writer and storyboard artist on the show towards the beginning of his career. Number 47. Series writer Eric Weiss left the show for a year to work on shows like Samurai Jack and Danny Phantom, but returned to draw storyboards and character layouts for the first movie. Number 48. Writer Jay Lender can neither confirm nor deny that Bubble Bass is based on Chuck Klein, a storyboard artist that worked on the show between 2000 and 2007. Number 49. At the end of season 3, the original crew for the show largely disbanded. Some went on to work on the first movie, and only a few returned to the series. Hillenburg and Dryman left production completely, and writer Paul Tibbett became the show's supervising director. Number 50. In Graveyard Shift, Squidward tries to scare SpongeBob with the story of the hash-slinging slasher. To sling hash means to serve food in a restaurant, especially a cheap establishment. Number 51. Stephen Hillenburg hesitated for over a year after Nickelodeon Paramount Pictures first approached him to make the first SpongeBob film. His reluctance was largely due to watching The Iron Giant and Toy Story with his children and worrying it would be difficult for SpongeBob and Patrick to do something so cinematically consequential. Number 52. The original plot for the first movie was for SpongeBob to rescue Patrick from a fisherman in Florida, but the crew thought it was too similar to the Pixar film Finding Nemo. However, Tom Kenny later said this was a joke to keep the fans busy. Number 53. Hillenburg and 5 writer-animators spent 3 months writing the original film sequestered away in a room in a former bank in Glendale, California. Writer Kent Osborne joked it was hugely fun, although it did get kind of gamey in there. Number 54. The writing process for the movie was a bit unusual. The film began as a collection of post-it notes with rough sketches on them. Writers began to develop larger outlines based on these sketches. Number 55. Jules Engel, Hillenburg's mentor when he studied experimental animation at Cal Arts, passed away in 2003 during the film's development. Hillenburg dedicated the movie to him, saying, "He was truly the most influential artistic person in my life. I consider him my art dad." Number 56. Dennis, the hitman sent to kill SpongeBob and Patrick, is voiced by Alec Baldwin, famous for his role as Jack Donaghy in 30 Rock, and as the guy who did the speech in Glengarry Glen Ross. Number 57. One of the trailers for the film borrowed footage from 3 famous submarine films, Das Boot, Hunt for Red October, and U-571. Number 58. The Flaming Lips wrote SpongeBob and Patrick confront a psychic wall of energy for the film's soundtrack. Frontman Wayne Coyne wanted to do a duet with Justin Timberlake, but Hillenburg turned down the idea, claiming he didn't want any of those sorts of commercial weirdos on the soundtrack. Number 59. The pirate ship seen at the beginning of the film is a recreation of the 1787 Royal Navy sailing ship that was used in the 1962 film Mutiny on the Bounty. The ship has been seen in other films including Treasure Island and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. Number 60. Goofy Goober Rock is derived from the iconic song I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister. Number 61. In a deleted scene from the film, Sandy appears as a live-action squirrel on the surface, being pursued by Men in Black. Patrick's incessant vomiting called for the scene to be removed. Number 62. 2 covers of the SpongeBob theme have been made by pop stars. A cover by Avril Lavigne is on the SpongeBob movie soundtrack. The Violent Femmes also covered the title sequence as part of a TV promotion. Number 63. There have been a lot of fan theories on who Pearl's mother could be. Mr. Krabs' wife is one of the only parental units not to make an appearance on the show, which leads to a lot of fans speculating that she may be dead. Number 64. In the episode Karate Island, Sandy Cheeks is shown in a yellow and black jumpsuit similar to the one worn by the bride in Kill Bill, which was in turn derived from a jumpsuit worn by the master himself, Bruce Lee. Number 65. Clancy Brown, the usual voice of Mr. Krabs, couldn't quite hit that high note at the end of the song Christmas Who? D. Bradley Baker, who voices Squilliam and Bubble Bass, stepped in and sang the note instead.
Christmas to me,
Number 66, as told in the episode Friend or Foe, Plankton and Mr. Krabs were once friends and developed the Krabby Patty secret formula together. After a fight, the recipe was split in two, with Plankton's reading only a pinch of chum. This led to the creation of the Chum Bucket, which uses a bit more than a pinch of chum. Number 67, chum is actually a type of salmon, which means that Plankton's restaurant is serving ground up fish to fish. Number 68, in 2008, the animation crew began using Wacom Cintiqs, electronic drawing pads, instead of traditional pencils. Season 5 was the first season to use this new method. Series background designer Kenny Pittenger said, "The only real difference between the way we draw now and the way we drew then is that we abandoned pencil and paper during the 5th season." Number 69. In 2009, Burger King had a SpongeBob-themed advertisement parodying Sir Mix-a-Lot's song Baby Got Back, where the Burger King sang "I like square butts" while models danced behind him. The ad drew controversy from the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood for being sexist and inappropriately sexual. Number 70. The episode SpongeBob You're Fired sparked major controversy for criticizing labor laws as well as the food stamp system. The Hollywood Reporter stated that the episode may have had a political agenda and, as a result, the episode has been pulled and is rarely shown. Number 71. Nickelodeon celebrated the 10-year anniversary of SpongeBob with a live reading of the episode SpongeBob vs. the Big One at Sundance Film Festival in 2009. Number 72. The opening to the special Truth or Square was done in stop-motion animation by the good people at Screen Novelties. CeeLo Green, of Gnarls Barkley fame, even stepped in to considerably smooth out that familiar pirate shanty. Number 73. The special also had an impressive lineup of celebrity cameos, including Will Ferrell, Ricky Gervais, Craig Ferguson, and the late Robin Williams. Number 74. Screen Novelties would return for the full-length stop-motion episode It's a SpongeBob Christmas. The episode was inspired by classic Christmas films such as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Number 75. Though we all love claymation SpongeBob, Screen Novelties is perhaps most famous for its integral role in the creation of Adult Swim classics Robot Chicken and Moral Orel. Number 76. It's a SpongeBob Christmas aired on November 23rd on CBS, which marks the first time a SpongeBob special was not premiered on Nickelodeon. Number 77. The backgrounds for the stop-motion Christmas special used 60 pounds of baking soda and 42 pounds of glitter. 20 boxes of breakfast cereal were used just to make the coral rocks. The crew also tried using real snow, but not surprisingly, it melted. I guess you could say the heat given off by studio lights is no joke. Number 78. According to one of the special's directors, SpongeBob was the most challenging character to translate to stop motion, just because of the sheer number of parts that needed to be made. We wanted to retain as much of the squashy, stretchy goofiness as possible, so he had dozens of replacement parts, like arms, noses, even various sizes of cheeks and freckles. Of course, as the main character, you really want to make sure he will charm the audience, which brings a special kind of pressure. Number 79. Hillenburg and Tibbett provided hands-on feedback on the production on a weekly basis. They'd check out the weeklies and go back and forth with us on the various gags. It was really a pleasurable experience when they came to visit, because we come from the same planet. It all felt very easy and natural, Walsh said. Number 80. In true Christmas tradition, Random House published a picture book based on this special. Number 81. Hillenburg returned to make Spongebob Squarepants sponge out of water. He had been in semi-retirement since finishing the first film in 2004. However, he still reviewed episodes during his absence and even wrote a few, such as Lost in Bikini Bottom. Number 82. Sponge Out of Water mixes traditional animation and CGI. It was the first movie to be made using traditional 2D animation since the Winnie the Pooh movie back in 2011. Number 83. Like the first film, Sponge Out of Water also incorporates live action. The opening was shot on Tybee Island, while the heart of the action takes place in Savannah, Georgia. Number 84. Burger Beard is played by Antonio Banderas, famous for his role as Zorro and as the voice of Puss in Boots. Number 85. Sponge Out of Water was dedicated to Ernest Borgnine, the original voice of Mermaid Man, who passed away in 2012. Number 86. Hip-hop group NERD wrote 3 songs for Sponge Out of Water: Squeeze Me, Patrick Starr, and Sandy Squirrel. Number 87. If the Seagulls and Sponge Out of Water sound a little familiar, that's because they're voiced by Billy West and Eric Bauza. The two worked together most notably as the titular characters of the short-lived Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon. Number 88. Bubbles the Dolphin is made of clay and was animated entirely through stop motion. This means the film uses traditional 2D, CGI, live action, and stop motion animation. Did they miss any other means to production? Number 89. Paul Tibbett, the film's director and screenwriter, earns a cameo as the voice of Kyle the Seagull. Number 90, SpongeBob's dramatic offer to sacrifice himself is scored by Ecstasy of Gold, which was written for the famous western The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Number 91, during the credits of Sponge Out of Water, Squidward's dance is right out of the first season episode, Culture Shock. Number 92, Slash from Guns N' Roses appears in one of the trailers for Sponge Out of Water. Sadly, the scene was removed from the final cut of the film. Number 93, the first poster for Sponge Out of Water was a parody of the Cooperative Sunscreen advertisements from the 1950s. Another poster parodied the 2012 Avengers film. Number 94, the movie grossed over $323 million in the box office worldwide, almost 2.5 times the gross of the first film. Number 95, in the Jimmy Neutron special, Rescue Jet Fusion, when Jimmy and the gang are swimming, a pineapple can be seen resting at the bottom of the sea. And we all know who lives in a pineapple under the sea, right? Number 96, in Avatar The Last Airbender, Master Paku says to one of his students, "Nice work, a couple more years and you might be ready to fight a sea sponge." Audio commentary confirmed that the comment was indeed a nod to SpongeBob. And yet we all know that SpongeBob is actually decent at fighting. Number 97, SpongeBob also receives a nod in Fairly Odd Parents in the episode Something Fishy. The Atlanteans say their diet consists of sea sponges, starfish, and the occasional underwater squirrel. Number 98. If that was not enough, SpongeBob also crosses international borders. In an episode of the anime Gurren Lagann, Squidward can be seen for a couple of frames in the background. Number 99. There have also been some not-so-subtle adult parodies of the show. In 2003, VH1 and MTV2 had a short-lived show called Illustrated, which was a skit-driven animated show for adults. One of these shows was called SpongeBob Hempants, which featured a poorly animated SpongeBob and Patrick making bad weed puns. The show was never actually aired due to concerns from VH1's sister network, Nickelodeon. Number 100. A clip from the episode Bubble Stand was shown in the 2005 sci-fi film Zathura. Number 101. A clip of Musclebob Buff Pants is seen on the store television in the film Cloverfield. Number 102. James Poniewozik of Time magazine considers SpongeBob as the anti-Bart Simpson, temperamentally and physically. His head is as squared off and neat as Bart's is unruly, and has a personality to match, conscientious, optimistic, and blind to the faults of the world and those around him. Number 103. In July 2009, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in New York launched a wax sculpture of SpongeBob in celebration of the series' 10th anniversary. Number 104. After the Egyptian Revolution of 2011, SpongeBob became a fashion phenomenon in Egypt, appearing on every article of clothing imaginable. The Tumblr SpongeBob on the Nile was soon founded by two American students to attempt to try to document SpongeBob's sudden domination in the region. Number 105. A clip was posted to YouTube in February 2013 that features soldiers in the Russian Army and Navy singing the Spongebob Squarepants theme song as they march. According to the website that uploaded the video, this is one of the most popular marching songs in the Russian military. They did say that SpongeBob's walking cycle was meant to look a little bit like a march. Number 106. Ukraine's National Expert Commission for Protecting Public Morality released a report saying that SpongeBob Squarepants is a real threat to children. The report also included the shows Family Guy, Pokemon, The Simpsons, and Teletubbies. Teletubbies I wholeheartedly agree with. That baby son is super creepy. Number 107. SpongeBob is the only Nickelodeon show that has gone farther than 200 episodes, with the show still being made to this day.
That about wraps it up for our 107 more facts about SpongeBob SquarePants. If you want, you can go and watch the original 107 video that we did on SpongeBob, or you can watch Emily's Cartoon Conspiracy, where she delves into the theory that SpongeBob and his friends are all the product of a nuclear bomb explosion. Let us know in the comments down below what your favorite episode of SpongeBob was, and don't forget to subscribe because remember, Frederator loves you.
107 facts about... My lord, you've done almost every cartoon. Hold up.